Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the way that I replace the engine in my 2009 Jeep Wrangler. A little backstory on this Wrangler. It has right around 300,000 miles, and when I bought it, it was showing a cylinder 5 misfire, and it was obviously misfiring. When I brought it home, upon further investigation, cylinder number 5 had low compression. So at that point, I was like, have a high mileage engine. I'm not sure if I want to completely rebuild that engine. So I was doing some research trying to find an engine to replace this Jeep with a little bit lower miles. And everything I found was like $2,500 to $3,000 used. And if you wanted to get a reman engine, that's right around $5,500 to $6,000. And I just wasn't ready to pay that kind of money. So I was doing a little research on YouTube and the interweb, and I found that you can take a 3.8 out of a Chrysler Town Country or a Dodge Caravan. I believe it was from years 2008 to 2010, and you can make them work for your Jeep Wranglers from 2007 to 2011. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I took the engine out of this Jeep and replaced it with a Chrysler Town & Country engine with half the miles. Hey guys, we're in the process of trying to get this engine out of this Wrangler. Had some problems with it, so went ahead and took some advice from another YouTuber, and he had bought a Dodge Caravan Town Country, same engine but just different stuff on it. So we're gonna yank our engine out and start swapping some stuff over, and we'll keep you guys in the loop on what we're gonna be doing. Oh boy. Now we got all the other stuff off. Working on transmission bolts and torque converter bolts. And then got to do our motor mounts. Then the engine should be ready to get pulled.
Beautiful.
Alright guys, got the Jeep engine out. I'm going to go ahead and sling her around and get ready to start swapping some parts. Alright, got both engines here. Got the one from the Jeep, the one from the van. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Jeep one. I'm going to go ahead and remove the timing cover and all the pulleys associated with the timing cover there, and see what we got. Alright, so I got all the accessories off that I thought I needed to get off. I didn't have to take the water pump off, but I'm not sure. I've never done this before, so didn't know if the bolts were going to be too long to go actually into the block or if it was just into the cast. So the water pump could have stayed on. Other than that, harmonic balancer off. I had to take the tensioner off because there is a bolt right behind the tensioner that needed to take off. I guess I could have flexed the tensioner to get that bolt, but just easy enough to take it off. I'm going to get a new one anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple love taps with the mallet. I did take off 2 nuts down here for the upper pan gasket and 2 bolts. Because if you see, right here is where the timing cover bolts up to. So you got to remove those 4 access points there. Access bolts, nuts, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to go ahead and tap it and go from there. Alright, got the pan off. Got the suction tube up there. I should be able to go ahead and tap it out this way and get it off the shaft. All right. Holy cow. That didn't help out any. Look how loose this chain is. I bet you that cam was not positioned the way it should be. It's probably why I was getting some funky compressions. All right. So now that I got that off, like I said, man, that is loose. This side's kind of taut, but I don't think it should be that loose. Holy cow. Yeah, I bet you that's exactly what happened. Timing went loose. Probably was not making full compression on that one cylinder. I'm not sure. Just kind of talking out my butt. Anyways, got the timing cover off. Got the pan off. So the only other thing that I need to salvage from this engine, I am going to take off the flywheel. From what I was reading, the flywheels are almost identical. But for my own peace of mind, I'm going to take the one from here, put it onto the new engine. Like I said, just for my own peace of mind. But right here, so on this junkyard engine from the Town Country, the oil filter is right here. So this obviously has to come off, but there's a plug right here that I've been lubing up pretty good because it's kind of rusted in there. But I got to take that plug out and put it in on the Town & Country one. So that way our oil filter will be on the front, not on the side. Because over here, you got, yeah, I think, no, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 motor mount bolts. So on the Town & Country, obviously that's where the oil filter sits. Can't put motor mounts there, yada yada. You guys get the picture. So I think I'm pretty much done with this engine for now. We will go ahead and start taking the front cover off, just like we did here. Harmonic balancer off, pan, all that stuff. So then I can start swapping parts over. I'll do this last. Like I said, the YouTuber I follow, he said that you know, right here is an oil passage that shoots through, and then that's where that's get capped off at. I guess this one here is capped off on this side of things, so it doesn't get used. It's just solid. So this is the one that would send oil through here to the filter, and then it would return through here and then back into the pan. But for what we're using it for, we'll plug the supply to the filter. Then this is automatically blocked off by the timing cover. So once we take off the one on the front of the Town & Country, we'll make sure that there's nothing funky going on over there. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and clean up, push those aside so I don't get stuff mixed up, and then we're going to go ahead and start tearing apart the Town & Country. All right, got the Jeep engine completely torn up down, like you've seen, and I just took the timing cover off of the van engine. If you look, the blocks are completely the same. Same bolt holes, all that good jazz. I took the oil filter off, and you had the suction and discharge there, like filter the oil. Well, I'm going to take the plug off of that guy over there, and we're going to go ahead and stick that right in there. And then as long as we use the Jeep timing cover housing, This port will be blocked off, so we won't have any oil coming through there. So that'll be good. Got that spark plug out. It was a little bit difficult to get out, but I got it out without snapping. I'll just have to get a chase to chase those threads. Alright, so I took the plug off of the Jeep engine and I just put it up on this Town Country engine. Cleaned up all the nice mating surfaces, make sure that looks good. I did put Loctite on this guy just to ensure that it's not going to back out on me. Don't know if that's standard, but that's what I want to do. So now, all we got left to do is clean up the timing cover from the Jeep. Mount it up here on the Town & Country. And then we'll be able to put the oil pan back on. But I'm going to put the oil pan from the Jeep onto this one. Where the pickup tube comes down from the oil pump there, they're different. So got to go with the Jeep oil pan. It's a little bit deeper, so that'll help out too. But all right, I got my timing cover here. Got a new gasket. Go ahead and install our new timing cover and gasket on the van engine. All right, I got the timing cover back on, tightened up. It's not up to spec. I have to check the torque readings on them. Yeah, I'll get all that torque back down to where it needs to be. As for now, I'm going to be cleaning up the upper and lower oil pan. Gonna put a new gasket between the lower and upper. Just make sure that we're all good. No future leaks. And then we'll go ahead and install the oil pans. Alright, I got the upper pan cleaned off, as well as the lower pan. Gonna go ahead and put some gasket material on there. Get everything all bolted up, and then we'll get ready to put her back onto the engine. Alright, so we got the oil pan, the lower oil pan, new gasket, sealer, maker, whatever, put back on there. I cleaned up the mating surface there. I do have to clean up the mating surface on the Town & Country engine. And then once I get that cleaned, we'll go ahead and bolt the pan back up. Then once we do that, I'll go ahead and install the tensioner, harmonic balancer. My water pump is on order. It should be here hopefully in the next couple days. I'm not too worried about that though. I can install that when it gets back in the Jeep. The intake, we cannot use the intake from the van just because the coolant ran through. Well, I think I got rid of that already. But the coolant ran through the timing cover, and then it goes out through the top of the intake manifold on the back side. But obviously it won't work for a Jeep due to the fact of where everything's located, the way this engine sat compared to the way the Jeep engine sits, blah blah blah. So we're gonna go ahead and use my intake from the Jeep over there. So we'll go ahead and take this one off, put the oil pan back on. Another thing is this dipstick. This for the Town & Country is bolted up here. I know on the Jeep engine it is bolted down here where the oil pump used to be, or the oil filter housing used to be. This was never used, and I don't think it's going to be an issue if I just leave that dipstick. We will see once I go to install it, but I don't think it's going to be a problem unless the AC compressor is going to prohibit me from keeping it there, which it actually might. Maybe not. I think the AC compressor sat here. Yeah, so it might. I have to get my tape measure out and see. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the pan back on, clean up the area, put the pan back on, I'll go ahead and throw some pulleys back on. All right, got the oil pan on. Everything looks good there. All torqued down. Got the crank pulley or harmonic balancer, whatever you want to call it, back on, bolted on. Torqued down. Got the timing cover torqued down. Tensioner pulley on there. Everything looks good there. Had a little torque spec thing. Got off of some Jeep website, like off-road website. Don't remember which one it was, but if you guys are curious, I can give you the website. So those are the torque specs. All that's left to do is install the water pump, and I already unbolted this guy, so we'll go ahead and get rid of this and get ready to put the new intake gasket on and the Jeep intake, which I won't do until the until this engine is in the Jeep itself. Another thing I got to do is swap around the valve covers, just the way the tubes are, the breather tubes, and the fill. You don't want to fill oil from the backside of your engine. I mean, you can if you want, but I don't. Anyways, so yeah, we'll go ahead and put the water pump on, and we'll get it ready to get put into the Jeep. All right, got the Town Country engine on the hoist. Get ready to put back into the Jeep. I got the old Jeep sitting on a spare tire over there. That old engine over there. I did swap the flywheels. I got the water pump put on. Everything is torqued up. I put the Jeep flywheel on. I torqued those down. It was 60 foot-pounds was the recommended torque. Both sides I tapped the motor mount holes, so those should go in with ease, I'm hoping. But other than that, another thing that was different was right here where I got the chain hooked up to. This stud the van did not have, but the Jeep did. This was for the grounding strap, so we extracted that and put that back on this engine, so we should be really good to go. We will see here in a few days when I have time to throw this in the Jeep, and I think everything should work out just fine. So yeah, we got the Jeep engine, or the van engine, mounted into the Jeep. Everything's bolting up really nicely. I flopped around the valve covers, so the filler port's back up here instead of back over there. I used my gaskets from the Jeep engine because they're brand new. I did buy a new intake manifold gasket, so we'll use that. As for the dipstick tube, really kind of hard to tell the way my camera is. Where the Town & Country bolted up to is right behind the upper motor mount. On this side, where it is the Jeep, is bolted down here, where the oil filter sat for the van. So if you're going to go ahead and swap the engines, I would go ahead and swap your dipstick tubes. I was hesitant. I'm like, I will make it work, which I'm still going to make it work. But yeah, if you're going to do it the right way, definitely swap dipsticks. I did swap the dipstick itself, just not the tube. The Town & Country dipstick is shorter. The tube length is the same, but the dipstick was shorter because of the smaller pan. So I did put the Jeep's dipstick back on. Other than that, everything is looking good. Hopefully we'll have a running video soon. But, yep, coming along. Got the upper intake, or the lower intake bolted on, torqued down. Everything looks good there. Gonna go ahead and start running some wires. Also got the transmission cover piece for the flywheel put back on. So everything's bolted up. Everything's looking good. It's fitting very well. Almost OEM. So we're going to go ahead and continue putting parts on it and give it a whirl here in a little bit. All right, got the engine all installed. Everything looks to be good now. Adding fluids, added the oil. So we're going to go ahead and start her up and see what happens. Sounds a lot better. Sounds really good. So as you can see, Jeep has right around 300,000 miles. Yeah, it's right-hand drive. Kind of weird. Yep, this is the after. Engine runs real nice. Very smooth. Got no problems with it. Everything fit pretty nice. And she's smooth running. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed day.